thank you for joining us on Nationwide, reaching you on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. I am Lami Ali. You can join us online on nta.ng/live and on other social media handles of the NTA displayed on the screen for updates. The Oba of Benin, Oba Iwari II, has called on Nigerians to support federal government's renewed hope agenda. He stated this after an audience with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at the presidential villa. Oba Iwari said, with support and prayers for the Tinubu administration, Nigeria will be a better place for all. Let's join hands to build a nation that brings succor to the vulnerable and disadvantaged members of the society. This is the appeal of Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, during her first engagement with wives of state governors on the implementation of her pet project, Renewed Hope Initiative. State House correspondent Adeni Taiwo brings us the details.
It is another closed-door meeting, this time between the First Lady and wives of state governors identified as critical stakeholders in the national implementation of our pet project, Renewed Hope Initiative. Deliberations behind these closed doors, though varied, centered on how to effectively implement the Renewed Hope Initiative as a national program, which of course recognizes the peculiarities of each state and region. And with our guest in tow, it was a happy First Lady that emerged from the meeting, satisfied in the knowledge that the pet project will have desired impact on vulnerable Nigerians.
We really welcomed the initiative, so we are just praying that when they go back to their various states, their husbands should be able to give us support. Work has started, and we want to, jointly build Nigeria together. Nigeria belongs to all of us, and this is not party issue now. We have to come together, reach out to the vulnerable amongst us.
While paperwork on the initiative are already going through official round at the CAC, other organs of the NGO are also expected to take firm roots in states and local government areas with coordinators.
They are going to inaugurate the wives of chairmen to be coordinators at the local government, RHI coordinators. So they are going to go home and do that, and so that when work
that we've highlighted done.
As the national coordinator of the initiative, the First Lady and our Vice National Coordinator, Nana Kashim Shetima, are expected to meet heads of each zones periodically for progress reports. In the State House, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
Parties in the petition filed by the Allied People's Movement challenging the eligibility of President Bola Tinubu to participate in the 2023 presidential election have adopted their final written addresses. Olabode Arewa brings us the details.
The petition of Allied People's Movement, APM, is the third of the three consolidated petitions filed before the Presidential Election Petition Court sitting in Abuja. In the petition, the APM and its presidential candidate, Chichi Ojei, are challenging what they allegedly termed as double nomination of the running mate of the APC's presidential candidate, President Bola Tinubu. Specifically, APM alleged that President Tinubu purportedly flouted Section 131 and 142 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as Section 35 of the Electoral Act, when President Tinubu nominated Kabiru Masari as a placeholder before later substituting Masari's name with that of Vice President Kashim Shettima. The petitioners also averred that APC's alleged double nomination having taken place beyond the INEC timetable, President Tinubu's nomination was purportedly invalid. But in their preliminary objections, INEC, the APC, President Bola Tinubu, Vice President Kashim Shettima, and Kabir Masari said the APM's arguments were without merit, particularly since the Supreme Court had decided in its May 26, 2023 judgment that President Bola Tinubu was validly nominated and is eligible to contest in the election. After adopting their final written addresses, the court adjourned to a later date to deliver judgment on the APM's petition. Parties in the petitions of the PDP and Labour Party are yet to adopt their final written addresses. Olaboderewa, NTA News.
The High Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting in Abuja has struck out the fresh counts filed by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) against former governor of Imo State, Okorocha. The presiding judge, Justice Yusuf Halilu, who gave the order, quashed the counts on grounds of abuse of court processes. Judiciary correspondent Austin Anyebe reports.
Ruling on the application on fresh count charge preferred against the former governor of Imo State, Okorocha, Justice Yusuf Halilu berated the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission for bringing up an issue that had earlier been decided by a court of coordinate jurisdiction. The court chronicled how the earlier counts preferred against the defendant were quashed on the grounds of poor investigation by the EFCC by Justice Pam of the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt Division. On the basis of this, the court held that the right judicial process was for the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to appeal the verdict of the Federal High Court in Port Harcourt at the Court of Appeal, not to turn around with fresh counts on the same ground of faulty investigation earlier noted in the same court of equal jurisdiction. The court therefore struck out the application and fresh count charge preferred against Okorocha.
The ruling of the court came out today, and it just says that everybody should respect the law and nobody's above the law. That is the bottom line of the court's ruling.
I believe that nothing should discourage the EFCC from doing their work. They should do their work, and they're doing quite well. But they should try to make sure that everything is within the ambit of the law. That's just what we're saying. But I just thank God Almighty that finally, the third time actually, that same court is saying the same thing over and over and over again.
The legal representative of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission declined comment on the verdicts from the High Court of FCT Abuja. Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
The new Theatre Commander Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hatlinkai, Major General Gold Chibuisi, has given assurance to 100,000 Boko Haram terrorists have so far surrendered, with 8 more being the latest with their weapons. The theatre commander stated this after taking over command of the operation in Maiduguri. Memuna Garba has the story.
The new theatre commander, Major General Gold Chibuisi, who is familiar with the terrain, having served in 19th Brigade Baga, Borno State, and immediate past force commander multinational joint task force, are sure to remain focused in clearing remnants of the insurgents, even as more terrorists are coming out daily to lay their arms, owing to sustained onslaught these days.
A lot of effort has gone into this operation, and we're at a crucial stage in our plans. So I will continue to solicit the support of all stakeholders, because we are going to give it our best shot, and God willing, we will be able to conclude this.
The outgoing theatre commander, who has been deployed to Jamena Chad as Force Commander Multinational Joint Task Force, Major General Ibrahim Salau Ali, had, while addressing troops under the theatre of operations, charged them to continue with their gallantry and not to allow the insurgents to regroup, with the optimism that the Boko Haram crisis will soon come to an end, assuring that the Lake Chad Basin general area under his watch will be safe for socio-economic activities to thrive.
When I go, I will study the ground. If it is necessary for us to conduct special operations, we shall do. What is important is for us to see how we can bring the crisis to an end so that people can return to their normal lives and improve on their livelihood.
With the change of leadership at Theatre Command Operation Haɗin Kai, new ideas and strategies are expected to be injected into the ongoing counter-insurgency operations for outstanding successes. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Mortaries and road users plying the second Niger Bridge have been assured of its safety and that the structural integrity of the bridge has not been compromised following the vandalism of the median part of the bridge, Anambra access, by some miscreants. Maureen Izekweke reports that the representative of the engineer, Mr. Sheyi Martins, gave this assurance during a fact-finding visit by NTA news crew.
On December 15, 2022, the federal government opened the second Niger Bridge for use to ease the traffic in the southeast during the festive season. Recently, some miscreants were reported to have started stealing parts of the expansion joint walkway axis 330 of the newly constructed second Niger Bridge, now open for use. The engineer in charge of the second Niger Bridge speaks on the nefarious activity carried out at the bridge.
We came to site the following day and discovered that one of the metal plates had been removed, and this was done by some miscreants. I don't know what they stand to gain by destroying this valuable national asset.
Mr. Sheyi Martins speaks on how long it will take to replace the stolen items, assured road users on the safety of the bridge.
We are putting measures in place to replace the metal plate that was removed. I want to use this medium to assure the members of the public, road users, that the bridge is safe. The structural integrity of the second Niger Bridge has not been compromised in any way.
He, however, stated that the precise cost of the stolen items is still under analysis. In Onitsha, Maureen Ezokeke, NTA News.
The issue of cultism has been of concern given the effects on the society. There are alarming statistics of activities of cultists in this part of the globe. A recent media report has it that as of 2022, 84 cases of cultism were recorded in some parts of the country. Delta State is identified to be among states with high cases of cultism. We join live our correspondent Agatha Iwariojo as the Edo State Police Command to beam searchlight on the subject matter that is said to slow down developments. Now, Agatha, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Lami. Thank you for joining us in Benin.
Putting this matter into perspective, how worrisome is the trend?
Well, I can tell you that it's quite worrisome that for days there's been growing apprehension over the renewed court crisis in parts of Edo State. It was reported to have first started in the polytechnic town of Auchi, where a youth corps member sometime in June was shot, and in retaliation, three other people were killed in different locations in the polytechnic town. That's last week. And just while that was yet to settle, a young man on his way from church, he has been identified as he was also killed. And while the media was still talking about that, a few days ago, you had three others along Uselu-Ugbowo Road and Oluku axis that were also killed. So it's quite a growing apprehension here. People are being careful about their movement, especially those going to relaxation sports or bars at night, because you really can't tell where the next attack or where the next crisis will start.
So tell us how the security operatives are dealing with the situation.
Okay, it's not just the security operatives. Luckily, the situation has gained attention. Just Wednesday, the Edo State House of Assembly, in its during its plenary, in a motion of urgent public importance, called on the government, the state government, and all security agencies in Edo State to stem the tide. And a few minutes later, the Commissioner of Police, that's Mohammed Dankwara, issued a directive to all area commanders to beef up security, that's increase patrols and operations to be able to get suspected cultists wherever they are in Edo State. And just yesterday evening, in what we can describe as a harvest of criminals, suspected criminals, the Edo State Police Command paraded 65 young men from the ages of 20 to 35, for different offenses. Well, I have the command's PRO spokesperson, SP Chidinwa Buzo. He's here with me, and he will be telling us more about the arrest and what is being done to curtail the situation. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Okay, so what's the current situation as it is now in Edo State? How many the arrests being made and the number of deaths or killings recorded?
At a time we begin to see these court rivalry and fighting, stroke killing, rising up again in Edo State Command. And I tell you that immediately we see this ugly situation coming up, the Commissioner of Police Edo State, CP Mohammed Adamu Dankwara, gave a marching order to the operatives, most especially the tactical teams, to deal with the situation and report immediately. And I tell you that as at yesterday, the operatives of the anti-kidnapping and cybercrime unit, collaborating with the state, Edo State Security Network, also known as Vigilante, moved into the city in different locations and arrested a total number of male suspects, cultists, and brought to the command. That actually makes the difference, that we are making the difference. We are marching forward in ensuring that these criminals are brought to book, and in ensuring that Edo State is calm. You just made mention of a person that was killed on a Sunday at Ugbo area, that is GRA area, where in the church premises. Yeah. The church is called Freedom Church in that area. Amaba area was shot dead, and immediately the divisional
spokesperson, the command spokesperson, is still here to answer.
Yes, sir. We would want to know, criminals live within communities, and communities cannot be completely absolved when crimes are committed. So what is the police doing to jointly work with the community so that they fish out these criminals from their midst?
Okay, so I'm just going to redirect the question to him to answer. Criminals live in communities, of course. They live in communities, and we all know members of our communities. What police is doing to interface with communities to fish out criminals from their hideouts?
As we understand this, the criminals live in the community, and that is why the Inspector General of Police made that effort to ensure that there is a community policing, that we are managing the situation with having that synergy, collaboration with the community. We are actually working together to ensure that those crimes that are committed in the creeks, in the community, hamlets, villages are dealt with. And we are doing well in that.
All right, thank you so much, SP Wabuzo. Thank you for your time. All right, that's it, Lami, here. Well, the federal government on its own part is doing so much to address security challenges. They've already named service chiefs that have also been confirmed by the Senate. We just hope that this development will spur them into action, and Nigerians will be better for it. We'll give you updates as regards the security situation in Edo State as time goes on. Thank you, Lami.
Thank you very much, Agatha. Now, guests on Good Morning Nigeria have decried the cases of bloodletting across the country driven by sentiments. They advocate proactive measures through intelligence gathering to nip insecurity in the bud. Lydia Sampson reports.
Identifying early warnings and mitigating them via early intervention with sincerity from all key players, Gaston Good Morning Nigeria says, must be prioritized. Similarly, they harp on enshrining security accountability across security agencies with proper collaboration and coordination.
It would be unfair to place that responsibility as an example on our traditional rulers. Over time, we have whittled down their power. In the past, they know what to do, they know the individuals to call that are representatives of those identity, and then a solution will be found. We've whittled down their power to a point where they are slightly ineffective.
If we are patriotic enough to look at ourselves as Nigerians, and whenever an issue arises between us, there should be that brotherly look in the face of each, and then you begin to find out who is wrong. It helps.
The guests decried negative mobilization across divisiveness, heightening trust deficit.
It is done. Might be when there is an attack and there is a public outcry, hurriedly they call everybody together and they meet and they just discuss. The situation goes away. Nobody talks about it. So the process of coordination starts from the basic level. What everybody must do, and I think the NSA, even the president, must insist that we've got to strengthen the structure of coordination among the security agencies.
They are emphatic that with deliberate community engagement and intensified efforts, activities of non-state actors wreaking havoc across the country can be mitigated. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Nationwide continues in Lagos with Adeola as our guide. Hello, Adeola. Good to see you. Adeola, good to see you.
Hello, Lami. The feeling is mutual. Welcome to Lagos. Nigerians who are bearing the brunt of the removal of fuel subsidy will soon breathe a sigh of relief following the approval of 500 billion naira by President Bola Tinubu, which was as equally supported by the National Assembly. A cross-section of Nigerians who bear their minds on the development described it as timely. Joel Pokbola has the report.
The removal of subsidy on petrol has been having a ripple effect on the economy, thus taking its toll on transportation, food items, and other basic necessities. Nigerians describe the 500 billion naira palliative as apt in view of the rising cost of living.
You use the money for the benefit of the masses, not by sharing the money. You know our people, when you say that they should share the money, some people just might. If you can remember during the COVID-19, you know what happened.
My advice is that I will advise if federal government can do subsidy on transportation to question the effect of the masses. Are you getting it? Removing of fuel subsidy is a good thing.
The palliative respondents say should be well channeled to critical sectors of the economy and those who are in dire need of the fund.
How can the money reach all of us? Some of us, we are not politicians. Some of us, we are not government workers.
The consensus is for government to ensure proper monitoring and implement without delay. In Lagos, Joel Pokbola, NTA News.
Now let's go to judicial matters. The money laundering trial of a former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, before a federal high court sitting in Lagos continued, with the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, calling more witnesses.
The resumed hearing before Justice Aneke Chukwujeku of the Federal High Court, Ikoyi, Lagos, over an alleged 6.9 billion naira fraud involving the former governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayose, and his company Spotless Investment Limited, counsel to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, called a witness, Abubakar Madaki, an official of the commission in Nasarawa State, who led the investigation team of the alleged fraud. Abubakar told the court how the commission received an audited report of procurement of arms from the National Security Advisor. According to him, the report contained names of individuals and companies that have received money from the National Security Advisor and how the money was shared. Companies and individuals that obtained money were analyzed and investigated. Abubakar also stated that the investigation was extended to the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, and other institutions which the investigative team deemed fit. He further explained that Silver Magnamera was one of the companies that obtained 1.6 billion naira and Diamond Bank was used for the withdrawal. The office of the airline was traced and the officials of the airline confirmed that they actually moved Senator Musli Obanikoro to the Akure airport and parcels were brought in a Diamond Bank van. The sum of 1.6 billion naira was withdrawn from the bank and taken to the airport and handed over to Senator Obanikoro. He said it was confirmed that Obanikoro actually took the money to Akure with Gyro Airline. After listening to the testimony by the witness for more than an hour, Justice Aneke Chukwujeku then adjourned the case to 25th, 26th, and 27th of October 2023 for further hearing.
And those are the stories making the rounds in Lagos at this time. Remember that you can still follow this broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. Fatima Hassan in our Makodi Network Center.
And thanks for joining us in Makudi. Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule is reassuring Nigerians that the present administration is already working on producing alternatives to the use of petrol as a long-term measure to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. He said adopting the use of gas will revolutionize the transportation industry and promote clean energy in the country. Aliu Tijani reports.
On the list of investors willing to invest in Nasarawa State are gas investors, leveraging potential in the state to produce liquefied natural gas and liquefied compressed natural gas in the automobile industry following petrol subsidy removal. Also, the project, with the capacity to produce 23 metric tons of liquefied natural gas, will ensure conversion of petrol-driven vehicles to gas, thereby cut costs and promote clean energy. Governor Abdullahi Sule, who welcomed the partnership with the state government, says the project will promote visual gas supply across the north-central zone of the country. He appealed to Nigerians to be patient as government at all levels are working on palliatives to cushion the impact of subsidy removal on petrol.
If you go to places like Brazil today, they are either using ethanol or they are using electric or they are using gas. So my dream is to see one day, as you arrive in Nasarawa State, you will see even our motorcycles are being driven on gas. This is the dream.
With the prospect for job creation, the project will see to the construction of gas facilities in Lafia and Karo local government areas of the state. In Lafia, Aliu Tijani, NTA News.
Back home in Benin State, the Assets Recovery Committee has recorded success with the recovery of some assets few weeks after its inauguration. Elias Itiaf reports.
As set up by the state government are given the mandate to recover landed and movable assets in the wrongful hands of individuals or groups of people. State Chairman of the committee, Mr. Hingabiem, while giving an update on exploits of the committee, says several vehicles and other property carted away have been recovered. He further adds that the committee's successes are largely dependent on security reports and surveillance, having obtained a search warrant from the appropriate quarters to carry out their assignment.
Based on some of the reports, some of the security reports we have got, and some of the surveillance that have been carried out in a couple of places, we discovered that some of the vehicles are kept in certain places, and we needed to get to those places to establish if those vehicles are government vehicles, so we could recover them. In doing that, we had to obtain a search warrant to get into those places. So it is after we obtained the search warrant that we decided that some of the places that we had some reports that some of these vehicles were hidden, we need to move into them and evacuate those vehicles.
More assets, according to the committee, are currently being traced for recoveries. In Makurdi, Elias, ATF, NTA News.
And that's it from Makurdi. Nationwide continues in Abuja with Lami.
Thank you so much, Fatima. Citizens' Action for Good Governance has caught high federal government's intention on the recent removal of fuel subsidy and planned palliative measures for 12 million Nigerians in the coming days and beyond. National coordinator of the group, Nazir Galadanchi, says the new economic order will save government additional resources to channel into meeting competitive demands of the people and strengthen human empowerment programs under the renewed hope mantra.
Will of this president, we supported him to remove the subsidy and ensure that funds meant for these subsidies are utilized into basic needs of Nigerians. We hope that our educational system will be improved. We have good infrastructures in place. Our welfares, agricultural sectors will be improved, and then the salary and the wages of civil servants will also as well improve and be reflected upon.
The body also commended the exemplary role played by the Department of State Services in uncovering high-profile corrupt cases and efforts at stabilizing the country.
Of the actions taken, we want it to be reinforced and to continue to be peaceful. We've noticed the emergence of some few activities in Niger, in Nasarawa, and all sorts, but these are skirmishes that I don't think is something compared to what we've experienced in the past. We're here to motivate them, to encourage them, and to also ensure that when they need citizen support, we are here to support them to ensure that Nigeria is secured.
It urges Nigerians to resist moves capable of destabilizing the country by anti-democrats. To health matters now, Nigeria is expanding health insurance services to its citizens, especially persons with disabilities. This is being achieved through the distribution of National Health Insurance Scheme NHIS identification cards to beneficiaries. Gufan Shaji Ugwanyi reports.
You for coming here.
Disability Colony in Karamajiji, Abuja, receiving officials from the National Commission for Persons with Disabilities in partnership with the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. Visiting officials assure the persons with disabilities the government remains committed to addressing the challenges confronting the community.
We started the project here as the first phase of the project here in Karamajiji. Today the card we give them, it is a sign that their health is fully covered for the next 12 calendar months, and it will be renewed annually.
Great gesture given by the past administration of giving a piece of land to relocate these people who are have been here temporarily for almost 15 to 18 years. Now they have a piece of land to themselves, and we are making efforts to make sure it is developed.
Members of the community appreciate the team for taking up the responsibility of addressing the health and educational challenge of children, as well as providing skills to empower adults in the area.
We are so much happy for the commission and the partnership of the humanitarian ministry and the commission to see how they will promote the life of persons with disability.
Just recently, Her Excellency the First Lady, our distinguished Senator Oluremi Tinubu, launched the Renewed Hope project. That project itself is a clarion call outside of any political, religious or tribal representation to bring to the fore a simple fact that she is a champion for persons with disabilities and this government is a champion for inclusion.
The federal government says plans are underway to include more than 500 persons with disabilities in the Federal Capital Territory in the National Health Insurance Scheme. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji Ugwanyi, NTA News.
Nationwide links up with Gabriel in Port Harcourt for more stories. Hello, Gabriel. For more stories. Hello, Gabriel.
Welcome to Port Harcourt. The Nigerian Navy ship NNS Pathfinder Port Harcourt has smashed a high-tech, large-scale illegal oil bunkering site from 2 oil heads within oil mining license OML 18 operation areas in River State. Kingsley Amaju reports.
The discovery of these 2 sites in Krakarma and Kala communities in River State wouldn't have been possible without the aerial surveillance conducted by the Nigerian Navy. From the Nigerian Navy ship Pathfinder base in Port Harcourt, it took over an hour navigating through the sea amidst difficult terrain of the coastal creeks to get to this location. The syndicate at Krakarma Oil Wellhead has successfully laid a pipe from the oil wellhead to a discharge point.
That oil wellhead, you see, they are laying this pipe. This pipe now takes the oil to the canoe boat there. From there, they take the crude to their refining site.
The Nigerian Navy is disturbed that such magnitude of oil theft is going on without the community and members of the pipeline surveillance team raising alarm or calling attention of security operatives.
A lot of technical skills have been involved. There's no doubt.
We have some issues with Gabriel there, so we continue taking some more stories until signal stabilizes. Medical experts in maternal childcare are currently in Abuja brainstorming on possible ways to reduce bleeding during pregnancy and neonatal deaths. Elizabeth Omorui reports that obstetrics and gynecologists at a forum on fetal maternal medicine advocate provision of equipment and specialists at primary healthcare centers to meet maternal needs.
Fetal maternal hemorrhage, medical experts say, is the entry of oxygenated blood into the maternal circulation before or during delivery. Nigeria accounts for over 34% of global deaths in mothers, while the lifetime risk of dying during pregnancy or childbirth for a Nigerian woman is 1 in 22, compared to 1 in 4,900 in developed countries. Medical experts in Nigeria are concerned, and this forum provides a platform for them to come up with adoptable medical and social solutions.
Provision should be made for facilities we are going to use in working. After we have been trained, there should be facilities for us to use.
Frequent pregnancies, anemia, infection, and delay in placenta removal are some of the factors identified leading to bleeding.
There must be 24-hour coverage for mother and baby for Nigeria not to remain as number 1 in maternal mortality and number 2 in neonatal mortality.
Strengthening of primary health care and routine employment of health workers are some of the recommendations made. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Global Initiative for Peace, Love and Care, a non-governmental organization, has given a check of 100 million naira to less privileged Nigerians to tackle various life-threatening health challenges. Francis Udojo, who covered the event in Abuja, reports that 15 persons benefited from the gesture.
Easier to rush to a pharmacy to get a drug for a case of headache, but not when it has to do with kidney problem, a hole in the heart, and also cancer.
This is because the medications for such diseases have to be prescribed, and the financial power to tackle them is usually a big challenge. This is what 7-year-old Ode Ogine with a head tumor and several others with life-threatening challenges have been going through. The gift of 100 million naira to Ode Ogine along other beneficiaries is hope of survival for them.
This condition has been here for 7 years, right from childbirth. And today, with their support and their donate, their love and care, we'll be going for the surgery. And I want to say a very big thank you to them.
I thank you with this organization to give me 2 million naira to put my stomach to come down. I appreciate him.
I thank God for what he do for my life. God will bless him for this check, 10 million that he give me. God will bless him.
Surviving different life-threatening hurdles, the Director General of GIPLC, Nuhu Kwajata, said prompted his move to put smiles on the faces of the needy.
We're giving hope to those in need, and there's no achievement in life like putting a smile on the faces of those in need. So we're able to raise about 100 million naira during a charity event organized by our grand patron, Igor Charles Sanomi. And 100 million naira was raised, and today we're distributing the money among 15 children who are going for various surgeries within and outside Nigeria.
Just as beneficiaries like Ode Ogine are grateful to God and GIPLC for the love and care, 4 years Jasin Olumeka, born without a kneecap, who needs $50,000 for surgery, will expect assistance not only from Global Initiative for Peace, Love and Care, but from government to foot his bills and many others in his shoes.
Congratulations, sir. God bless you.
In Abuja, Francis Udojo, NTA News.
Yunusa is standing by in Maiduguri with more reports from that end. Hello, Yunusa.
Thank you, Lami, and welcome to Maiduguri. As part of as Nigeria strives for self-sufficiency in agricultural production for food security and development of agro-allied industries, Lake Chad Research Institute Maiduguri has released 4 new high-yielding varieties of wheat to farmers with a capacity of producing 7 to 8 tons per hectare. This is part of the 17 varieties of cereals released by the Institute in recent times, as disclosed by the Executive Director, Professor Babagana Jugudum Kabir, at the 36th meeting of the National Committee on the Naming, Registration and Release of Crops, Varieties, Livestock Breed and Fisheries held in Ibadan. Abubakar Musa reports.
The Lake Chad Research Institute is a federal government agricultural agency vested with the mandate of genetic improvement of cereals and other crops to stand the test of climate change, pest and soil type for increased yield. The director, Lake Chad Research Institute Maiduguri, Professor Babagana Jugudum Kabir, had presented the 4 improved wheat varieties comprising 2 bread and 2 durum wheat varieties. According to him, the 4 wheat varieties enriched through on-farm and multiplication trials released to farmers with support by LCRI Extension Services have potentials for 7 to 8 tons per hectare. He says with the official release, Nigerians should expect gradual reduction in importation of the various wheat varieties and lowering of cost of bread, as well as other products. The Research Institute Director acknowledged the contributions of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture in supporting the Institute develop appropriate technologies that are aiding in the realization of the potential yield of the varieties.
This is one of the steps that you have seen here, releasing high-yielding, heat-tolerant varieties that can grow in many areas of the country, particularly the savanna zones.
The director recommended the expansion of cultivation areas in wheat production states to fully achieve the effectiveness of efforts of LCRI with efficient extension services. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
To security now, with the significant peace being enjoyed in Benin State, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps has intensified patrols to rid the states of crimes and criminality, where it apprehended and paraded 26 suspects involved in various crimes committed within Maiduguri and other parts of the state. Pauline Kuje has the details.
Half of the 26 suspects were minors involved in homosexuality, gangster clashing and theft. Others are those engaged in vandalization of private and government properties, including 6 drivers with 3 truckloads of vandalized tower masts in Chibok local government area, in addition to armor cables, trailer rims, and iron rod, amongst others. Among the suspects were fraudsters who defrauded a non-governmental organization, Save the Children, the sum of 12 million naira through the production of fake identification cards to fake beneficiaries of its monthly food and cash distribution programs.
Muna da yawa wanda aka dauko mu idan mun karbi kuɗi kowa ya bi interest ne akai.
Ina so in yi luwadi ne an kama ni. Ni da wani yaro kamar shekara 10 haka.
Wani waya ne karami shine 7,000 a angonmu. The state commandant NSCDC Musa Faruk Boyi thanked the state government for the support and enabling environment provided to succeed in the fight against crimes and criminality.
Vandalism sabotages the economy of the nation. It slows down development with a negative effect on the quality of life of the people. Our gallant officers and men are rapidly acquiring great capacity to recalibrate our tactics, the activities of vandals and the errand boys.
Exhibits from the suspect include swords, axes, cutlasses, knives, charms and cannabis sativa, among other dangerous weapons. In Maiduguri, Pauline Kuje, NTA News.
Well, that's the size of our package from Maiduguri. News